Hello everybody, I'm Shunan Jain and let's continue our SQL journey. So till now we had learned how to upload a dataset in SQL. And now we will get started with the queries which will help us to get information out of the dataset. Means we will be starting to analyze data present in the dataset. So we will learn our first query, the select statement in SQL. So what is select statement in SQL? So select statement in SQL is a basic query which helps us to select data from dataset. So basically what we are doing here is we have an entire dataset and we will be drawing a subset from the entire dataset using the select statement, and the subset is known as the result table. We will also apply the conditions on the result set, like any greater we want result which is greater than particular value, less than particular value, or like we want data for a particular customer name, so we will also have that, or a multiple values customer name. We have these conditions as well using where and having clause, and other conditions can also be imposed. We can also apply the keyword distinct to remove the duplicate values in the result table. So what is the syntax of select statement? So let us see the syntax. So the syntax is basically we will write select column name or names which we want to extract from the dataset that we have uploaded, and from the table name, the table that we will be uh, drawing information from, followed by a semicolon to mark the end of the query. So it is important, again it is important to remember to write this query in a clean way, as it is always stressed, because writing the query in clean way will help us only understand what columns we have called, what tables we have used, because as we move on ahead the queries will get on complex. So we need to keep in mind the uh, a structured way in which we write queries. It is not a rule, but it's just a good habit of writing, so we have to keep this in mind. Now moving ahead, uh, we have a task that we have to view the entire table, or all the records that are present in the table. So right, and there are many columns, let's say 20 column names, so it will become tedious to write all the column names. So we have a wildcard which is star, and we write like select star from the table name, which will help us to draw all the columns from the table. And now, as I said, using the distinct keyword we will be able to remove the duplicate values. So the syntax is select distinct keyword, then the column names from which we want the distinct values, and the table name. Now let us look at the examples. So the first example is like we have a customer table and we want to view that customer table. So select star from customer. So it will help. What the query will do, it will go to the customer table, and then it will say that okay, we have star means select all columns, so it will select all columns from the customer table. The query operation will go like this. Now if we have to draw particular column, so for it will go like from customers, it will, the SQL server will go from like from customer, so it will go to customer table and select the customer ID. Then if we have multiple columns, like this from the sales table we want to draw the product ID, customer ID, and the profit corresponding, so we can write select product ID, customer ID, profit from sales. So how the SQL will go through it, it will go to the sales table from sales, so it will go from sales, and then it will draw the product ID, customer ID, and profits. Now if we have to draw distinct values, as we have said, so the examples of this, like we have a task, we have to see the sales, from the sales table we want to draw what product have been sold, so it is like select product ID from sales. But we know that a product is sold multiple times, so there will be duplicate values, and we want to remove the duplicate values. We only want the ID of the product sold, like we are in a shop of grocery, and we have like multiple type of pulses sold and spices sold, and these are sold many times as well. Like rice can be sold to many customers. We only want to see what of the entities are sold in a given day or in a given month. So we can write okay, we will go to select product ID from sales. It will give us like rice is sold 3 times, so it will give rice, 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 but we want only rice first time. So then distinct keyword is used. Select distinct product ID from sales, so it will gives us only like rice one time from the sales table. This is how the distinct keyword works. It will go to the sales table, see the product ID, and say okay, this we have to sort. It will see that, then it will see the distinct keyword, it will return the unique values of the product ID, and we will get the distinct product ID. So now let's go to SQL and see how these query work. चालू करना है. So now this is pg admin, and we have created a customer table which has these columns: customer id, customer name, segment, age, country, city, state, postal code, and region. Similarly, we have the product table and sales table. From now on, we will be using these data sets only, and we will upload these data sets in our SQL using the copy statement we have learned earlier. So now let's see how the select statement works. So select star from customer. So our target is to see what the customer table is, basically what the data has. We don't know what the customer table looks like, so we will run the customer table. Select star from customer, we will run it, and we see that the query is returned and it has 793 rows. We will again see this. We will go to the end. We have 793 rows as stated, 793. So we see that the customer table has customer ID, customer name, segment, whether like consumer, corporate, age, country, city, state, postal code, and what region it lies in. Similarly, we can run it for product and sales as well. Now if you want to only see the product customer ID from the customer table, so we will run this query, and we will now get only the customer ID of customers, like this. Now if we can also run for the product ID. It is the homework. Now we will run for multiple columns. Okay, so we run for multiple columns. We have product ID, customer ID, and so on. So this is basically the how we run multiple. So it went to the sales table. I'll first show you the sales table, what the sales table is basically. So this is the sales table. It has order line, order ID, order date, ship date, and it has product ID, customer ID, and profit as well. So we want to see only these three information. We don't want to see the other information. So we run this query, therefore product ID, customer ID, and sales, and we get this three columns only now. Now we have like we will obviously have multiple product IDs in this product table. So first I will show you what the product IDs are, number of product IDs. So there are total 9994, 9994 rows in this, and there are obviously distinct we duplicate values, so we want original values only, no duplicates. So we run this and we get 1862 rows only now. So this distinct keyword reduces or removes the duplicate columns and gives us the original rows only, original product IDs. So this is how basically the select keyword works. So we have seen how the select keyword and select distinct keywords work. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Do comment in your views and do subscribe the channel.